Hi everyone. Last week when I did my hashtag 100 things video, a lot of you asked me how I made my tickets. Now this is a selection of the ones I made. Now it's very easy and it's a great way of using up these long thin strips of card or paper that we're left with after a project. All you need is a tracing wheel, as some of you probably guessed. In fact, you don't even need a tracing wheel, but I'll get back to that later. You can get these in any sewing shop. This is an old one that was in our house for years. I think it probably belonged to my late mother. God be good to her. She wasn't into sewing, but anyway, these are what people used to use for transferring the markings from sewing patterns onto the fabric. They'd have the pattern, a layer of carbon paper and the fabric, and they'd go mad rolling this thing around. If you haven't got one of these, there's no worries. You can use a sewing machine. Just sew along where you have to go, and it'll put in the little marks, the little pin pricks. Or you could just use a needle. There's no need to get worried about it. And the other thing you need is a punch, just your average household punch. And if it has one of these gadgets to catch the punch outs, just remove it. You can pull it off. They're meant to be pulled off and emptied every now and again because you need to see what you're doing. So the first thing to do is get your strip of paper. Now this particular strip I'm using is 1 inch wide, and each little ticket will be 1 inch wide and 2 inches long. And I'm making this size. You can make them any size you like, but I'm doing it this size because it's the size that the companies that make them, the commercial companies make them, like Prima. So we can copy them for starters. So I just put it down on the board, and I'm going to go in a bit and get your tracing wheel and run the tracing wheel along at the 2 inch mark, the 4 inch mark. Right. Now I know you're probably saying I'm going to ruin my scoreboard. Well, I'm not, because this is an old scoreboard I don't particularly like. I wouldn't use it on my good Martha Stewart scoreboard, especially as Martha is no longer making them. Good girl, she churned out a lot of them in her day. But this is all you do. Just put the marks in with the tracing wheel so that the ticket can be torn asunder or, you know, pulled off. Just like that. Well, you can give it a good, it depends how hard you have to go, depends on the thickness of your card or how many times you have to go over and back with the tracing wheel. When you have got it to that stage, just give them a bit of a fold. Then get your punch, and at each line, at each traced line, just cut out a semicircle with your little traced measurement in the middle of it, just like that. Now that's a bit too big, but you can be more accurate at home because you're not doing it on camera. Yeah, I know these aren't accurate. I'm just doing this to show you. That's all. Then at the edge, you put in the corner, and just take off a quarter, kind of a half arc shape. And down at the far end, same thing again. It's just not, of course it won't punch properly for me on camera, but never mind. And that's all. Then you go mad decorating them. And as I said, you don't even need the tracing wheel. A sewing machine or a needle will do anything to put the little line on it. And you can also use a tracing wheel to do the sewing edges, the stitched edge look on any die cut, any straight die cut. Just get your piece of paper. Of course, I have no normal piece of paper. How will I do? Just get your piece of paper and a ruler and just go, well, ideally a metal ruler, and just run it along, and well, if you do it hard enough, you'll have a stitched edge. It'll work better on paper than on card. But anyway, that's how I make the tickets, and then you can just decorate them any way you like. You can even do something as simple as a bit of stamping, and which will improve the look of them no end. Now, that's a very bare one there, but I see. Also, you can stamp little sentiments on them. Sorry. And these are great for using on projects. You can use your tickets on. They're small enough to be used on an ATC. You can put them in journals. You can add them to cards. You could even make your own little invitations, and make them a bit more your own personalised invitations. So there we are. I hope you could follow that. It's, as I said, it's very easy. And also, if you use graphic 45 paper a lot, you find these they'll have a page of tiny little pictures of whatever their particular theme is. And you can also line these up with your thingamajig and turn them into tickets. And there again, these can be added to journals and ATCs and whatnot. I have to line the green line up with it, and you can hear the crunch when the tracing wheel goes through the paper. And you've turned these into tickets, just in case you didn't know what to do with them. As I said, they would be lovely added to ATCs, even twinchies. They're small enough for that. So there we are. So that's all for today, folks. Hope I haven't bored you too much with my ramblings on my tracing wheel. So mind yourselves and happy crafting. Bye.